you're doing some kung fu and weights, and but you mentioned that you've got some hip and knee kind of challenges and all that sort of thing, and there's some lordosis in the spine. Tell me a little bit more, if you can elaborate on that.
As I've got older, I've developed more pain at the front of my right hip especially. So
Yes.
more sort of like top of the rectus femoris, so one of the big thigh muscles. And
Yes.
it's really limited my ability to spot out. And I know my internal rotation of my knee, especially on my right side, very, very
Yes.
limited. And
Yes.
I've tried every sort of stretch I can to alleviate that, and I haven't really found an answer. Even
Yes.
with the knowledge as being a PT, I'm a qualified personal trainer.
Yes.
I've been doing Kung
Yes.
Fu for 30 odd years, so I don't know if it's just age related or
Well, it could
just
be,
lack of
and maybe not. Yeah.
looseness.
Well, one thing, maybe if I comment on stretching, if that would be a useful little thing to dive into.
Definitely.
So for me, I suppose I would put myself in the category as, for a lot of my adult life, it felt like I was wearing clothing that was too tight, even if I wasn't wearing clothing. So my body is a little, I suppose, tighter in general, but that also had strengths to me as well, because it meant that I excelled in more strength training activities, more power-based activities. But I suppose I was less mobile as my natural structure. That has changed dramatically over time, but in the beginning, I found it challenging to stretch and to do stretches. So, so there's heaps of different stretches that you can do. And the most important thing that I noticed for me to actually start to get progress in stretching was to start to be able to feel the deeper tissue that I'm stretching. So in any position. So maybe I'll give an example, right? So let's say I'm in a stretch like this, right? So a tiger stance that gets talked about a lot. So in the beginning, I probably started maybe up here, yeah?
That's me.
Yeah, and as soon as I went into it, my body just tensed up, right? It resisted the process. So the first thing to be considerate of when we are stretching the body is what we're doing is expanding its capacity. And as we're doing that, then there is a degree of risk that we can perceive. So then if the mind is perceiving it as a risk, then we can tighten up against what's happening, right? So first, just gentle movements in the range that we've got. So then the nervous system, the mind, can then start to perceive that, okay, this is more safe. Do you get what I mean? And then as we do that, we might start to feel beyond just the muscles that are tensing up and clenching, because if they're tensing, then you can only engage with that tissue. So as the muscles soften, then we can engage with deeper tissue, goes into the fascia system, and then into the tendons and the ligaments. So then we can create more space in the joints, right?
It's like PNF stretching.
It's to a degree, yeah. PNF, the wonderful thing about PNF is it creates contrast between contraction and relaxation. So the method itself is not the God, it's more the awareness that's built through the method. And a lot of people don't consider it from that perspective. They're just like, I'm contracting, I'm relaxing. I'm contracting, I'm relaxing. But if we consider it less like a light switch that turns on and off, and more like we're looking to install a dimmer switch, then we get better body control. If you can get better body control around all of your joint structures, then you might notice that then maybe the signs of instability perhaps that are there, they start to change.